Let's dive straight in.
Section 7. People who can't feel pain at all.
Imagine stubbing your toe on the corner of a table and nothing. No scream, no hopping around, no cursing under your breath. There are actually people who live their entire lives without feeling physical pain. Sounds like a superpower, right? But here's the twist. It is way more dangerous than it sounds. Pain, as annoying as it is your body's alarm system. Touching a hot stove? That burn tells you to move your hand. Cut your finger? That sting reminds you to take care of it. Without pain, people can break bones, burn skin, or even get serious infections without realizing it. Kids born with this condition often chew their lips or bite their tongues without knowing, and parents have to watch them constantly to make sure they do not hurt themselves. Doctors say this rare condition happens because of a tiny change in the body's wiring. The nerves just do not send pain signals to the brain. But here is the strange part. People with this mutation often live normal lives, they just have to be extra careful. Some even say they have to learn danger in ways the rest of us never think about. Imagine teaching a kid that fire burns when they literally cannot feel it. So while not feeling pain might sound like the ultimate life hack, it actually shows us how important pain really is. It is not the enemy, it is what keeps us safe every single day.
Section 6. Kids born with real super strength.
We have all seen superheroes on TV. Kids lifting cars, smashing walls, running faster than lightning. But what if I told you there are real kids born with muscles so strong, doctors actually call it a mutation? This happens because their bodies naturally block a chemical that usually puts a limit on muscle growth. For most of us, that chemical keeps our muscles from getting too big too fast. But in these kids, the brakes are off. They can build muscle without even trying. Imagine being a toddler and already having visible biceps. Sounds like a dream for gym lovers, right? But here is the reality check. Having super strength is not always a gift. Muscles that grow too fast can put extra stress on bones and joints. Plus, life is not exactly built for kids with unusual power. Parents have to keep an eye out so they do not accidentally hurt themselves or others. Still, many of these children live completely normal lives, just with way more strength than anyone expects. Scientists are even studying this mutation to figure out new treatments for muscle loss in older adults. In other words, something that looks like a comic book power could one day help millions of people. So yeah, real-life super strength exists. It just comes with its own mix of challenges and surprises.
Section 5. Humans who can hold their breath forever.
We all know that feeling when you try to hold your breath underwater, and after 20 seconds you are already panicking. But there are some humans who can stay underwater for minutes, without even training like professional divers. Their bodies are literally built differently. This mutation shows up in certain groups of people, like the Bajosi nomads in Southeast Asia. Scientists discovered that their spleens, the organ that stores oxygen-rich red blood cells, are almost 50% larger than in most people. That means when they dive, their bodies naturally release more oxygen into their blood, letting them stay underwater way longer. No special gear, no scuba tank, just biology. Imagine being able to fish, hunt, and explore underwater caves with lungs that work like a natural oxygen tank. For the Bajau, this is not a party trick. It is survival. They have been freediving for food for thousands of years, and their bodies literally adapted to it. Of course, not everyone with this trait is born into a diving culture. But when researchers tested people with similar genetic tweaks, they found the same result: longer breath holding, stronger oxygen use, and a much calmer reaction to being underwater. It is like their bodies turned a dangerous challenge into a superpower. While most of us would be gasping after half a minute, they are still calmly looking around at the fish.
Section 4. People who see colors you can't.
Imagine walking into a paint store and seeing colors the rest of us literally cannot. For most people, there are 3 types of color sensors in the eye, one for reds, one for greens, and one for blues. But some people have a 4th sensor. That extra receptor means they can spot shades that look completely identical to you. So while you just see blue, they might see 3 different versions of blue. They can tell 2 lipsticks apart that look exactly the same to everyone else, or pick the right couch fabric in seconds while your brain is melting. If you have ever argued over is this blue or green, you might have been up against one of them. Scientists think this ability shows up more often in women because it is tied to genes for color vision that sit on the X chromosome. There is no secret training or magic trick. It is just how their eyes are wired. Driving, makeup, painting, or even picking out clothes all become much more detailed experiences. Of course, this superpower is not always convenient. When everyone else sees 3 shades and you see 6, shopping or decorating can turn into a never-ending argument. Still, in art, design, or fashion, it is a huge advantage. Once you hear this, you cannot unsee how limited normal color vision might be. So yes, some people really do live in a more colorful world. Not with filters or tricks, just genetics.
Section 3. People who never sleep.
What if I told you there are people who live their entire lives without sleeping a single night? Sounds impossible, right? But a rare mutation makes it real. These people just never feel tired. They can stay awake day after day, while the rest of us crash if we miss even one night. At first glance, it feels like the ultimate gift. Imagine how much extra time you would have. No bedtime, no alarm clock, no wasted hours. Some of them read books all night, work, or even pick up hobbies most of us only dream about. But here's the shocking part. Their bodies do not break down the way ours would. Somehow, this mutation protects them from the mental and physical damage that comes with sleep loss. Scientists are still baffled. Normally, skipping sleep wrecks memory, focus, and even your immune system. But these people keep going like machines. Could their genes hold the secret to fighting insomnia or even aging itself? Of course, not everyone sees it as a blessing. Think about the loneliness. When everyone else is asleep, you are awake with nobody to talk to. Nights can feel endless when you are the only one awake in the world. So ask yourself, would you trade your dreams for more waking hours? For some, the answer is yes. For others, it is a reminder that even superhuman powers can come with very human downsides.
Section 2. Super strong bones.
Have you ever broken a bone? A fall from your bike, maybe a sports injury, or even just a clumsy moment. For most of us, it is painful and takes weeks to heal. But there are people with a rare genetic mutation whose bones are nearly unbreakable. Scientists call it super bone density. These people can take hard hits, accidents, even car crashes, and come out with barely a scratch. It is like their skeletons are made of reinforced concrete. Doctors have reported cases where surgeons struggled to drill into the bone because it was so dense. Sounds like the ultimate superpower, right? But here's the twist. Having unbreakable bones is not always perfect. Their bones are so dense that it makes X-rays harder to read. And if they ever need certain surgeries, the extreme density becomes a real challenge for doctors. In other words, what looks like a blessing can also create problems. Scientists are fascinated by these people. Imagine if we could learn how to copy this mutation. It could mean new treatments for osteoporosis or other bone diseases. Instead of weak bones that break easily, millions could live stronger, healthier lives. So here is the question. Would you trade normal bones for bones so tough they could confuse an X-ray machine? It sounds awesome, but like all mutations, it is not without its quirks. Still, walking around with a skeleton that is almost unbreakable definitely earns a spot on the list of coolest human mutations.
Section 1. The rare golden blood.
Did you know there is a blood type so rare that fewer than 50 people in the entire world have it? It is called golden blood, not because it is shiny, but because it is priceless in medicine. This type has no Rh antigens at all, meaning it can be donated to almost anyone, making it the universal lifesaver. For doctors, finding someone with golden blood is like striking medical gold. If you have it, your blood could save countless lives. The problem? Because it is so rare, if you ever need a transfusion yourself, the chances of finding a match are terrifyingly low. That is why people with golden blood are tracked, and sometimes even flown across countries, to donate in emergencies. Imagine being one of those few people. Every time you give blood, you are not just helping someone, you might be saving a life that no one else in the world could save. It is both an incredible gift and a heavy responsibility. Scientists are studying golden blood to understand how such a rare mutation even exists. Could it help us design better universal blood for transfusions in the future? If so, it could revolutionize medicine. So here is the wild part. While most of us think our blood type is just A, B, or O, some people literally carry the rarest liquid on Earth inside their veins. That makes this mutation not only super cool, but also one of the most valuable in the world. So there you have it, 7 of the wildest, strangest, and coolest genetic mutations found in humans. From night vision eyes to bones that barely break, from people who never sleep to the rare golden blood that can save lives, It is proof that the human body is way stranger and more fascinating than most of us realize. And the big takeaway? Mutations are not just mistakes in DNA. Sometimes, they give people abilities that sound like superpowers. Other times, they are double-edged swords, blessings mixed with challenges. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that subscribe button. Here on Chill Sigma Explain, we keep the vibe relaxed but the facts sharp. Think of this channel as your go-to spot when you want to chill, but also leave a little smarter than you came. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Drop a comment, tell me which mutation blew your mind the most. And who knows? Maybe the next time we talk, we will uncover something even stranger hiding inside the human body.